We had asked the IPER group last year in October of 2017 what it is and how we should go ahead, and they really felt that the pathway needed a name. And so we worked with Elder Dan Thomas in Winnipeg. We had a pipe ceremony in March of 2018. And the pipe ceremony is one of our sacred ceremonies where we seek answers or we ask for healing from a spiritual perspective. So in our case, we had asked him to give us a name or to seek a name for us and colors. And so at our meeting, we had the pipe ceremony, and the name was given to us, Wabishki Bizhiko Skaanj, which means white horse. And that horse also came with colors, and so we have 4 colors: red, yellow, white, and blue. And also one of the colors that we've also embraced that came in the dream that Elder Dan had was purple. This color purple is here because when he was praying for that name, we were all sitting there, and this very large woman came to the pipe ceremony in his ask, and that woman was wearing a purple satin dress. And in that, what happened to Dan is he climbed up on her shoulder, and when he climbed up on her shoulder, she asked if he could comb her hair. So as he was combing her hair, he asked her why she needed help. And when he looked, she didn't have any hands. And when he looked at where she would have had hands, he saw hoops. And it was then that he realized that this was not a woman, but it was a horse. And so he went on to dream. He went on more in this ask of the name, and he heard this drum, and he started to move into like behind a glass. And as he was moving behind the glass, he saw these horses. These horses came in. The first one he saw was an Appaloosa horse that came in, and it had spots with black around it. He heard the sound of a drum, and he went back again. And when he looked, there was more. There was another horse that came that had a white coat, and then he saw that there was frost on the window. And so it was then that he realized that he came back into the ceremony. He came back into where we were sitting, and there was a white horse that was there at the pipe ceremony. So he gave us that name, and she had these beautiful rays of light on her. And these lights were really shining from her body. And when Dan woke up from that dream, or from that process where he was helping us, that was the end of him brushing her hair. And he saw that she had her feet in the ground, and she was pulling something, a very deep root. And so one of the things that he taught us at that pipe ceremony was that that deep root is that racism that we're going to be having to deal with. And I think that's part of what the training, certainly not all of it, but part of it is that he said there's going to be very deep roots to pull out, and he said that it's going to take all of our work in order to pull that root out. And so it's going to be all of our responsibility to take care and to honor that name. And part of that is through a feast. So we had a feast just the other day to honor that name. And as well too, people will also remember some things about the horse, the teachings, even maybe as a child, they had a relationship with a horse or knew somebody that had a horse. And so all of these things will come to help us as we implement that learning pathway. So I feel really honored that that CanSolve CKD network has really embraced our ceremonies and our way of doing things to help us find this journey and to honor some of those ceremonies that we need to implement the learning pathway.